These gloves are so like, they're ready. They're brand new. Can you hear the ASMR? Hey Jada, hi bunny boy. Hi Marshy. Just got finished recording the pod. Just finished recording the pod, episode 2. So, that'll be up in a couple days. And by a couple days, I probably mean tomorrow because I'm insane, so I'll probably stay up all night doing it because I want it to be finished. Oh my god, yay! Welcome home. You can protect me from the ugly people in Overwatch, so true. But yeah, everything will be up tomorrow, I think, for the pod. I got something that I can upload the Patreon videos to, which is exciting. But yeah, it was a good pod. I really enjoyed it. The audio might be a little funky though. We're trying to experiment with stuff, but if you guys subscribe to the Patreon, like, it'll definitely help with the bills, because right now Zane doesn't have a Yeti microphone, so the audio is a little sus, but it works. But it would be nice to upgrade. But speaking of upgrades, I have some cool stuff to show off. If you didn't check by the title, there is a Spider-Man collection of G Fuel products. This one is radioactive lemonade. I'm like touching it. You can feel my, hi John. You can see my fingies react to it. This is, oh, there's another radioactive lemonade. So these are both radioactive lemonade. I don't know what the difference is though. I guess we'll have to try it. I'm showing off the product. Show off the product. Hi, House Music. Hi, Lib. Thank you so much for 8 months. I love you. 8 months already is fucking crazy. So that's that. And then we have, oh, they're all radioactive lemonade. I wonder what the difference is. I guess we will have to try it and find out. Because with the collection of beautiful assortments of, there are can flavors. There's beautiful cans. Look at that. Ooh, show off the product. I'm not trying to get copywritten, please. Then there's this one. Gorgeous. Whatever Spider-Man I guess you like, you can just like get. I am the Nemesis Spider-Man. Yep, just came out yesterday. There's a new Spider-Man and that's me, Spider-Woman. These are some sexy G Fuel items. They are. We're gonna drink one tonight while we play some video games. Tom Holland found fucking dead in a ditch because I am the new Supreme bitch. But you can use code Nemesis for 30% off of your G Fuel products. Yeah, bitch. So buy some shit with my code. Let's load up the SpongeBob, baby. It's very loud in my ears right now. I'm actually really enjoying this game. This game's really cute. Oh, it's already there. Easy. And we continue just like that. Just like magic. Oh, I forgot we're in SpongeBob's world. Oh yeah, Chamber was great. I'm gonna like try to keep it open-ended though, so y'all have to watch the pod for how I feel about it. But it was great. This game looks so silly. It's so cute. Patrick's a little balloon. but it is really fun. Cause like the first one, I don't know if you played the first one, Lib, but the first one is like a remake. So this one's like a brand new adventure, which feels like really nice. What just exploded on me? I have actually played the SpongeBob horror games. There's one on my YouTube channel from a long time ago. It's under the Bargain Bin Horror Games playlist. No, Mercedes 8 down. She was so good. Her and Kyrie. Kyrie doesn't get her flowers. But I'm glad to see you, Lib. Thanks for coming out. I'm about to die. So, I will be controversial, and let's discuss it while House Music is here. House Music. I think you might have saw my text, but maybe you just didn't respond because you're being that girl to me, I guess. Jak and Daxter 2. That's an interesting game. Well, I'm dead. Work. Liv, I've got to say, you've been so gender lately, like, so gender envy. I'm, like, so jealous. Okay. No, I didn't get the BFF edition. I wish I did. I saw the collection after this, and it, like, was really cute. You get, like, a... Okay. No, literally so gender. Okay, can you please, like, can I just get across this river? Okay. Okay. But, like, I'm trying to understand House Music, why you like it. And, like, for somebody that I know, like, I know you, like, you don't like a difficulty spike in gaming. Why do you like that one? Because, like, it is so hard. And, like, I literally love Jak and Daxter. It's, the mechanics are so good, but, like, it's so difficult for me. Like, I feel like it would be, like, not to shade you or anything, but I feel like it would be easier for me because I play the game and, like, speedrun it so much, but I can't even do shit in that game. Like, it's so hard. I'm not even trying to be shady. I'm just trying to, like, decipher, like... I did like the... I can assume you would have already expected this, but I did like the grass temple where you collect the stuff and it's like, it kind of runs it back to the first game. I did like that section. But, like, House, it is so... Like, the checkpoints are so unforgiving. I was trying to do a mission that I had to clear, like, these alien eggs, and it took me, like, 30 minutes to do it, and then I died, and it made me redo the entire mission because the checkpoints are so unforgiving. I'm like, where is the charm that this game was, like, forgiving and nice and stuff like that? Like, what happened to that? Oh, good luck, baby. Good luck. I pray for you, Pixel Lore. Also, I thought it was interesting the other day. So my friend was playing League of Legends, my good friend, SlayMama123. And my friend texts me and goes, somebody in this League game has recognized me as your best friend. They say they're big fans of yours. And I was like, who is it? They were like, I don't know, but they just said they're big fans of yours. So if you are that stan of mine that was in a league game. Thank you for watching my content, but I have no idea, like, who are you? Whoever you are, thank you. Like in League of Legends of all games to recognize my oomphs. Can you please stop like air striking me? Like what is happening? No, literally, I thought it was so nice though. I was like, oh. Like I want to know so I can be like, hey. Nintendo needs to sponsor you, Nintendo. Exactly. That's a dream, but they're very like not, they don't work with a lot of their creators. I don't remember the last time someone said they've sponsored by Nintendo. What just happened? I didn't even skip the cutscene. Okay. You know what this game reminds me of right now? Reminds me of Tak in the Power of Juju. Y'all remember that game for the GameCube? That was a classic. Three weeks, I believe, and then we have, I think, 5 weeks till Mania. I know it's like 40 days or something till Mania. So it's gonna get crazy. Oh, okay. Oh, I'm breaking the game. I intend on finishing this tonight, though. Okay, or maybe I won't. They are sea bears. Isn't that a cute touch? Hi, Harley. Oh, I forgot. I'm not very good at this. I'm warming up. We just started stream. Sorry I'm starting stream a little bit late, y'all. If you want to... if you're rewatching the VOD or doing something, you guys can go over to Spotify, stream my podcast. It would really help if you guys can rate and review my podcast with my friends, Young Onyx and Zane X. It's called Triple Threat on Spotify. Just look up Triple Threat and then drag after it, and you should be able to find it. But yeah, it's a podcast dedicated to women's wrestling. It would mean a lot if you guys could possibly subscribe to the Patreon so we can upgrade stuff for the pod. Just a really fun podcast. The second episode we just recorded, and it'll be out tomorrow. And the debut, like, we tell everybody to subscribe to the Patreon because you get the full video, the trailer, the teaser goes on YouTube, and you can listen to the full audio on YouTube, but you won't be able to see the full visuals. But the Patreon exclusive video will go instantly on Patreon tomorrow morning. Last time it was a little delayed, but I got something to fix it because they were trying to charge me $240 to upload stuff to Patreon, and I was like, no. So, but the first episode, full visuals are out. This episode, you guys are gonna want to subscribe to the Patreon though, because something happens that is actually hilarious that you're gonna want to see. And because the audio is kind of wonky, so it might be better to see the visuals. I have no idea what you're talking about in it, but I love to hear you throw shade, please. I got you. Well, I also uploaded to the Patreon like a visual guide of what we're talking about. So like I usually have a packet of stuff that I like use for discussing in the pod. So I uploaded that to the Patreon for people to look at. So while you're watching, you can look at that as well. Oh. I don't even know what's happening in this game. Like, we're just here. We just out here. Well, Nikki Cross was in Elimination Chamber, so I'm sure there's plenty of shade. Yeah. Poor thing. Okay. This is not my level. Did it just throw me to the checkpoint? It did. It said, girl, you suck. I appreciate it. I really do. The Patreon just benefits like getting upgrades for the channel because right now Zane doesn't have like a Yeti. I think Onyx just lost their headphones, so just benefits everybody. Like, I'm good. I just want to make sure they are good and secure. Like, I unfortunately cannot pay for 2 people's Blue Yeti microphones out of pocket. Yeah, the way she was like, I love Mela, but the way she like just only did super, like, why doesn't Mela do the Bronco Buster anymore? Why doesn't she do the moonwalking move? Why doesn't she do the Stratisfaction anymore? Marshall, I love you so much, but I really don't understand what you see in Nikki Cross. Respectfully. Respectfully. How am I supposed to get up there? Hello? Do I really have to kill these guys over here? Okay, give me a break. I'm so hungry. I have no groceries though, so big L for me. I need to make a good pasta tonight. That's what I want. I also tried onigiri last night. Onigiri. Can you believe that? I actually really liked it. I just don't like it came with a sauce because I ordered it on Uber Eats. So I didn't like how they made it with the sauce because like I like, for my food, I like it to be salty rather than sweet. And the sauce tasted sweet. I like salty more. So that's like, I was like turning me off. But if I just didn't have the sauce, I think if like I went to the place and asked them to make it without the sauce, I would like it. I still liked it, but it just tasted way too sweet. I'm flopping. Hardest parkour ever. Hi, sweetie. Oh my god, thank you, Jesus.
Pardon me to bunga.
Oh. Ah! I wasn't ready. She wasn't ready. Lib, are you also getting like so many amounts of TikToks that are Mandela catalog TikToks? I love it. Please let me do this first try. Girl, yes. Same, I get so many like real like crime TikToks. Like a lot of them. What is this supposed to be? I literally have no idea. Oh, these go together. Ooh, these go together. It's good, Crimson. I just started a little later because we had to record the podcast today. Thank you. Is there a hint somewhere? Does this go in the middle of this? Oh no, it doesn't. Girl. What does it even mean? I don't get it. Oh, go back. Who is that supposed to be? Pearl? It is Pearl. Queen!
Ag, ag. Now got my laga palenga.
Unga, not coral, SpongeGar.
Uh-oh.
Oh no, we just made it happen. Oh, we have, she's a boss? Okay, Pom-Pom. You better work. Yes, boss fight. What is happening?
Ba-boom! Me squad! Me squad! Ba-boom!
She's kind of mothering.
Me squad!
Who would you rather? Who would you rather? Who would you rather? Mrs. Puff or Pearl?
Me squad! Me squad!
Oh my god! I'm a stop! Hi, starring role. Oh my god. Girl, what do I do? What I do? This is giving Princess Peach, the video game.
Ba-boom! Me squad! Me squad!
Me score. Miska Muska Mickey Mouse. Yeah, he was wrong for that. Me squag. She sounds like a sim. Yippee narf. I literally don't know how to dodge that. The crying is so funny.
Ba-boom! Me squad! Me squad!
Me at one hit right now fighting for my life. We did it.
Tickle foo, SpongeBob! Tickle foo!
Huh?
Oog! Squawk trapped here with two morons? No!
Unga jokey.
Me when I unga jokey. What does that mean?
SpongeBob, gada bada bada bagam banga, aga.
Squidward, I don't know if you've noticed, but I want you to hear it from me first. You're still talking like a cave squid.
Gaga.
Looks like Squidward's vocabulary is stuck between the cosmic rifts.
Madam Cassandra will help us get it back.
I don't think she wants to.
My favorite sponge lackey has returned. With lots of jelly, I hope.
Aye, aye, Cassandra. But can you use it to restore Squidward's vocabulary? It kind of got lost in all the cosmic chaos.
This precious jelly is not to be wasted on the minor inconveniences of a bald sea critter. This is about the big, the really big, the biggest picture! My once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for world saving the world.
Well, if you can't help Squidward, I gotta find someone who can. Someone who has a way with words. Someone with a vast vocabulary. But who?
Oh, how about Gary?
That's a great idea! Gary's a well-read master of linguistic finesse, and he definitely has a book or two that'll help Squidward. Let's check out his library right away.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Oh my god, exciting. They brought back the library level. That's like one of the best levels in the first game.
'Tis I, Sir SquarePants, ready to rescue another companion. Huzzah!
Oh boy, I always get hungry when we go to...
Don't you remember what happened last time, Patrick? The no food and drink sign is there for a reason.
The food on the sign is what always makes me hungry.
This is his library? Just this?
Is that snail slime? Gary must have read this book recently. That should do the trick, Patrick. Let's go back to Squidward.
I wanted to go into the... Why can't you go into his house in this game?
This book will...
Je vous déteste.
His coughing doesn't sound too good.
Yeah,
Ooh, we could try that. But first, let's try something more refreshing. Where can we find some delicious slurpable beverages? I'm feeling better already.
Where's the new portal? I only see side quests. Let's ride the horse.
I hope all our missing friends are still okay.
Yeah, I want to go to the cemetery. Yeah, we'll do it after this level. Who's the next person we have to save? Okay, rights. Oh, we have to save Pearl! This is Pearl's level. Queen. Gay rights.
this is the tallest slide ever. So this is what space looks like.
The music work. Let me turn that shit up.
Ooh, these clouds are so fluffy. And they float just like me. SpongeBob, I'm home.
Taste fabulous!
Oh, fabulous.
Go faster, SpongeBob! I feel like I'm flying.
The way I glitched for a second.
I'm feeling better already.
There is a lot of backtracking in this though, but like it doesn't feel like you have to backtrack a lot. Honestly, it's kind of like satisfying to backtrack in this game, which is very hard to do successfully. Like I never am like, I want to backtrack, but in this game I'm like, I want to.
Ooh, more jelly! I'm a climbing expert!
Who dareth to crasheth into thy princess's window?
Fear not, my whaley. It is Sir SpongeBob,
My
of Bikini
whaley?
Bottom, here to rescue you with his loyal squire, Patrick.
Square Patrick? I thought you were the square one.
Unless, have I been SpongeBob all along?
Stop it, your childish shenanigans! Oh, forget it. Listen, SpongeBob, I'm about to throw the most choral slumber party the sea has ever seen. There's gonna be cake and a band and popular girls from all corners of the realm, and they're all coming to celebrate their
It's all
love for
about
me,
you,
the
Pearl!
princess. I'm not going anywhere.
This rescue might take a little longer than I was expecting, Patrick.
You should call me SpongeBob.
Oh, whatever. Bye.
Pearl! What the heck, Pearl?
What a huge rock!
Looks
Ow.
more like a castle to me.
Well, whatever it is, I'd sure like to live under it.
No, literally, Patrick's having a fucking full-on crisis.
Ooh, more jelly. No more chafing.
No more chafing. Okay.
That's a long way down. Hey, maybe you should try being a balloon too, SpongeBob.
Yeah, the undies. Me undies. Just kidding, I don't have that sponsor.
Sticky sweet.
It's pretty windy up here.
It's windy up here. Don't blow away. Oh, thank you, Patrick. Thank you.
Could you not just... Still, my favorite level is definitely the Halloween level. That one was so fun. Hi, Max.
Ooh, that garden sure is pretty from up here.
Yeah, and a lot less confusing too.
You're right. It would be a pain in the barnacles to drop down there again. Ooh, more jelly.
I like the addition of the costumes for each level. I think that's such a cute detail.
No more chafing.
Oh my god, look how gorgeous this is! I want to live here. The music changed.
A little dabble do ya?
A little dabble do ya. I literally want to live here so bad. If I could have anything in life, I'd want to live on a greenhouse. Like, just like
No more chafing.
botanical gardens from Arkham. Just as a house.
I
That's
think
what I
there's
want.
a way through now. Barnacles! We broke the bubble wand! How are we gonna get home now and save Pearl?
No problem. We can fix it easy peasy. All you gotta do is find all the pieces, lick them, stick them back together. Cassandra won't even notice.
Patrick, that's brilliant! Let's hope it works on magic bubble wands.
I will. Just like when I fixed your TV and your bookshelf and Gary's food bowl. Oh yeah, I licked your refrigerator back together. I shouldn't have to explain how it came apart in the first place, though.
Ooh, more jelly!
The scream and then the cutoff.
Probably good. I also fixed your kitchen sink with a little licking stick. That faucet was leaky for months.
I'm not gonna ask questions, Patrick. I really am not.
I licked your windows back together once, too. Oh, that hurt. But you'd never know I smashed it with a hammer.
Sticky sweet!
No, I haven't. Oh wait, I watched the first season of that show,
Also,
but never
whipped
finished
your
it.
Fireplace back
Oh.
together. That was spicy.
Tally-ho!
Why is Patrick licking everything?
Well, I really need to find a different way home. Ouch!
A little dabble do ya?
No. No.
You really
I
are
never
my best
will.
Looks like that should be open now.
Look, a piece of the bubble wand. That should cover my buns.
Hi, MSK. They're really doing an increase of difficulty to these parkour levels.
Order up.
I licked and sticked your garage door back together, too. Huh. Don't open that for a while.
Patrick, please.
Order up.
It's probably good.
Last time I take the scenic route.
That should cover my buns.
Hi, Slay Slay.
Ooh, more jelly.
Shut up, not Death Jr. Trigger warning. That game was definitely really cute. It's just like that parkour part was atrocious.
A little dabble do ya?
A little dab will do ya. Who's smoking some dab? A little dab will do ya. I hit my dab pen.
Looks right to me. Hey,
Thank you, Slay Slay.
Sweet. I hate this maze. Why do I always come here?
Well,
Yow!
dumbass. You already know. Wait, yeah, I unironically, Liv, I saw your dab pen earlier. That's so funny. I want Big Frida to be a judge on Drag Race permanently. Anybody else? I'm correct.
No more chafing.
Can we have this discussion? Why are Carson and Ross still judges on Drag Race? Can we get T.S. Madison and Lonnie Love and like
No, thank you. Sticky sweet.
where, like make Candace Kane a permanent judge? Big Frida too, like. Girl, I'd literally DJAF about the hilarious Ross Matthews. Matthew, thank you for the follow. I don't like seeing when he speaks, I see all of the work done in the bottom and the top part of his lip. I just see it every time he opens his mouth. I see all of that work done that he has not filled in on that upper lip.
Another piece of the wand, Patrick. There's only one piece of the bubble wand left.
well, maybe we should look in another part of the castle. This part is confusing.
Great idea. Now where's the next part of the castle? Ew.
Where doth you think you are going?
There are options? Well, I want to go to Finland.
The curly Q on the back of Squidward's wig.
Only those who come bearing
The bangs?
invitations may enter. And even then, there's no boys allowed. Unless they're in the band.
Are you in the band?
Tragically, my duties robbeth the princess of the elevating experience that are my
No boys
melodies.
allowed. Let me in. T-girls in. Let me in. I'm fucking starving right now.
I am forced to cast other, more mediocre talents. And tell sea urchins like yourself.
I don't know why the Among Us one doesn't really work. I think it's because it's spelt wrong.
To get out of here.
Maybe this is the entrance to the castle. We should come back with all the bubble wand pieces and a compass.
Thank you for the resub, Peach Sweet. I appreciate you. There you go. Oh, it's because you just did one. It's on a timer.
Eee. Look, Patrick, I think there's some animal trapped in this cage.
I haven't been able to eat all day because I was recording the pod and I didn't want to be chomping on the mic.
Oh boy, maybe it's a giraffe!
We should probably free it from its cage, whatever it is.
I wish these were spicy. I love the fucking jalapeno chips. Hi, Alice. Hi, Key. So happy to see you.
The princess's animal is so majestic. I hope they let it out soon.
What animal? Let's try this radioactive lemonade, shall we? A Spider-Man flavored G Fuel. It's radioactive lemonade. I feel... my spidey senses are tingling! Oh my goodness! After that drink, I can do this! Pew! 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 Psh! We'll add it in post of me shooting
The
cobwebs.
princess's animal is so majestic.
Oh, hi, Chrissy. Thank you. The powder. I usually don't do the powder ones because, like, I have to make the drink, but... Because, like, I'm too fucking lazy. I just drink the can.
Ooh, ew! Sorry, nothing personal.
I already have to fucking pee. Bleh. I need to pee-pee. Oh!
Too high!
Too high? Oh, I've heard that before. Zane got way too high on the podcast tonight, guys. It was so fucking funny.
Something cool, like
I'll add a Patreon exclusive, like, little clip after we ended the podcast Zane was so high, he was just drawing shapes on his face with eyeliner because he was so high out of his mind. So funny.
I got the first key. Looks like this will be the key to our success.
How are you doing? I'm doing good. I'm just a little hungry. I haven't been able to eat because, like I said, we just recorded the pod, so I didn't want to chomp on the microphone. So I'm just a little peckish. I also don't have any groceries. I have to do grocery shopping, I think, tomorrow for my day off.
The Krusty Krab pizza is the
Tomorrow's
pizza
Monday, right?
yummy. That should cover my buns. A little dabble. I knew I'd key in on this one soon. Ah.
Correct. Okay, perfect. It's a little worried.
Order up.
I know Raw is tomorrow, so.
I knew I'd key in on this one soon. Ah.
What are in these doors?
The princess's animal is so majestic. I hope they let it out soon.
We have to let the animal out. I want to know what it is.
These guys have to get along. Get it? Ah.
I don't get it, SpongeBob. I don't.
Order up.
Oh, because they form into one. I got you now. I got you.
Sorry, nothing personal.
Did I press the button? Oh, okay, we're good. Also, not to be that girl, like, that's like, oh my god, guys, please subscribe to my Patreon. But Zane and Onyx looked amazing tonight. Zane did a drag look with a Rey Mysterio mask, and it was so fierce. I just love them both so much. They're great artists. Oh! Oh, I just died. Well, damn.
Ooh, more jelly. Come hither, adorable Steve.
Ouch!
You just told me to come towards you and you did nothing.
Sticky sweet.
Sticky sweet! Frickin' sweet, Lois. Oh. Not the SpongeBob grunting ASMR.
Whee! I'm feeling better. Ooh, more jelly.
Ooh, more jelly! Baby, you need to get some. Yeah, you should get this game. This game's really cute. I won't finish it to completion, so you'll have some stuff to do. I mean, I'll finish the story. I'm not gonna finish it like 100%. There's lots of side stuff to do that I just do not have the patience for. Honestly, it's really cute, Alice. I would get it like for a gift for somebody. It's like really cute.
A little dabble, do ya?
Oh, everybody hit the dab pen.
Jeez, now we can go free the animal.
Look, Patrick. Have you ever seen such a majestic creature?
Oh my
Colorful mane, the
goodness.
sparkly eyes, and that piece of bubble wand in its mouth. Quick, we have to catch it!
Don't let the unicorn get away. It's too pretty.
It's a unicorn mystery. Mystery. Wishna.
Sticky sweet.
I'll show you sticky sweet, SpongeBob.
Unicorn, come back! Come back!
Follow that unicorn. Wow, it is really fast.
How are we gonna catch this guy?
Order up!
I think it's rubber banding, so I can't catch it. A little dabble do ya? What does that even mean? Like, what is he trying to say? A little dabble do ya? Pufferfish. Who said they were gonna do a pufferfish look for the puffer jacket runway? Somebody said they were gonna do that on Drag Race. Is that Baba Yaga's hut?
Patrick, look! That old house looks like it belongs to a witch. Maybe the unicorn is hiding behind it.
Unironically, SpongeBob canon Baba Yaga.
You knew it.
Baba Yaga is in the SpongeBob universe. Confirmed. If Mrs. Puff is fucking Baba Yaga, I will literally get up. I will get loud.
You, Patrick.
I will get so loud. Let's get loud.
Sorry, nothing personal. Hadouken!
The SpongeBob Hadouken is actually hilarious. How did they get the rights? I mean, they probably didn't get anything. They just did it. When Capcom sues.
Sticky sweet.
Hello? Who is that?
Who's a good girl? You are! You are!
That's funny.
Salutations, Yellow Knight! Isn't she a good girl? I'm Twitchy the Witchy. And what brings you to my cabin in the woods?
Greetings, Miss Witchy. I'm Sir SpongeBob. My balloon buddy Patrick and I followed your, handsome pet because it took something of ours. Could you maybe convince it to give it back?
Sorry, but if Rainbow finds it, I keep it. However, I might trade it for some of that miraculous Wrinkly's Pro-Aging Cream my coven has been buzzing about.
She's cunty. I love those lips. And the titties? Okay, mother.
They say it can wrinkle your skin enough to make you look twice your age.
You got it. One batch of Wrinkly's Pro-Aging Cream coming right up. How hard can it be to pick up some cosmetics?
It can only be found in the most dangerous part of the woods, along the banks of the rushing river of Meanderson. There should be some left from the last shipment the baby-faced bandits raided. Fill up this bucket and I may trade you for it.
You got it.
I fill up my bucket.
Sticky sweet.
There is no fall damage. Work.
Gee, that river looks so scenic.
I could just swim in it. I probably couldn't swim out of it, though.
Very pretty.
We're getting closer to that mayonnaise. I can smell it.
Patrick, it's beauty cream.
Beauty cream? Sus? Oh, sassy. Anybody else getting that vibe?
Sweet.
This game is so, like, innuendo coded. Like, literally everything.
That should cover my buns.
I can cover my buns. Oh, that is right. SpongeBob's ace. That's what it was. We were talking about it last stream, like what
Ooh, more jelly.
what was the thing that they tweeted SpongeBob is, and it's ace. Hello, Madicals. Maddie, I have a question for you. Is mayonnaise an instrument? Let's discuss.
No, thank you. Ooh, more jelly.
Patrick is so cute in this game. Namantha,
The
so
crusty
real.
crab pizza is the yoink.
Is the yoink?
Hooray!
Gotta pick up my aging cream.
Come on, Patrick. Let's get back to Twitchy before those bandits come back.
She's gonna be so excited when she sees how ugly this will make her.
Oh! Patrick! Where's the
You're still
mystery?
alive? Good for ye. The last few heroes I sent out for cream never returned. The wrinkling hath begun. Good job, you two. Now beat it.
Her
Oh, thank
lips?
you, ma'am. But first, we have a wand to repair.
Hand me that thing so I can fix it and you can leave me alone.
Ah!
Amateurs. Now get lost.
What a pro.
Oh, I could have licked that just as good as her. I don't care. I'm gonna do it anyway.
That's like that thing. Remember that like trend of like tying a knot in your mouth or whatever? She chewed. Hung for Jesus. Love that username. That's hilarious. Oh my god, this one goes so fast. It has like an extra speed boost. Ow! Guys, I'm going so fast. Did you just see that?
A little dabble, do ya?
Oh, everybody hit your dab pen. I'm getting my entire chat high out of their minds. Okay, Maddie, we don't do that. Not too much now.
That should cover my buns.
That should cover my cup.
Sticky.
Hear ye, hear ye. With the most excellent, the Princess of Wales calls, there is space yet for...
Are you thinking what I'm thinking, Patrick?
Definitely. But where are we gonna find a school bus full of mayonnaise?
What? No, I meant we should try out for the band so we can get into the castle and save Pearl.
Oh yeah, that's what I meant too.
It's all about you, girl. Pearl, sorry. Oh, she doesn't know the words. I was lip syncing and I was like, I got her. She doesn't know the words. But then I realized I don't know the words. Camp.
Another bard, another migraine. But what doesn't one sacrifice for the crown? One's talent, one's pride. But our royal
Happy Pride.
blowhole decreed that not one of her subjects is to be turned away. Because thou have a
Shut up, Squidward. Oh, Dance Dance Revolution? Eat. Cheer for me! Where's the tips? Are y'all throwing dollar bills, please? Tip your queens. Eight. Devoured.
Hear ye. Regretfully, the yellow sponge and his annoying balloon shall be royal bards at the princess's most excellent.
Oh my god, we got
slumber
upgraded to
party.
bards. We're barbs.
The audience seemed to like their. And besides, I've already rejected all the other contestants. Thou may enter the castle. Don't screw it up.
The Squidward moaning ASMR? Did you just hear that? Hello? Calm down. Not too much.
Sticky sweet.
Yeah, Patrick is so cute in this game, Key. Like the balloon. There was even, if you bought the deluxe edition of this game, they gave you a balloon that you could blow up that looked like Patrick. Which I'm sad I didn't get now because that would have been so fucking cute. And they even give you, I think they give you 4 bouncy balls that have the characters inside. Like, it was such a cute collector's edition.
I'm feeling better already.
Okay, there's a lot of you over here. Please leave me alone. This is pretty. Look how pretty this is.
Order up.
The visuals in this game eat.
What if one of these beds is better than mine? I'll have to sleep on all of them to find out.
So real.
Huh, you'd think they'd at least tidy up around here for such a momentous occasion. Look at me go! Sticky sweet.
Fuck.
Oh, thank you, Patrick. Thank you.
The beds look real. Fuck. Okay, we're good.
Order up.
I hate those chompy guys. They make me mad.
Oh, yeah. Ooh, tally-ho!
What size bed do you guys all have? I have a queen. Does anybody here sleep on a twin size bed? Just wondering. I toss and turn, so I don't think I could sleep on a twin. Oh.
Order up.
Oh, work. Ooh, Ultra Plus. Whoa, this is pretty. Oh, that makes sense. Yeah, probably college
it's Princess
dorms.
Pearl. I think something's wrong.
Yeah, she looks like a real sad sap.
Ooh, more jelly.
She's crying. Why are you crying?
Weird, squishy monsters ruined my slumber party. The waiting staff have all
Hey,
fled.
Rambo.
Who will serve my guests their well-earned cake slices?
You?
As if I'm a princess, you royal doofus. That would be totally uncoral.
Gosh, Pearl. I mean, Princess Pearl. I'm sorry. Don't worry. Patrick and I will serve the epic cake.
Let them eat cake.
Nice reference. Are we playing Diner Dash?
This
Oh my god,
cake
we're
is
playing Diner
fragile.
Dash.
We have to be careful.
How do I serve it to somebody?
Hold it right there, soft shoe.
This buffet is all you can beat.
Oh,
I think you two need
This buffet is all you can beat. Ah.
guys.
Oh boy.
May I have their stats?
She made my, oh!
This buffet is all you can
May I have their stats?
enjoy.
Why are we being accosted?
This cake is fragile. We have to
Ma'am, get out of here.
May I have their stats?
Your cake, good sir. Ow. A little dab will do ya.
Who's gonna get me a birthday cake for my birthday? I like red velvet cake.
Hold it right there, soft shoe.
Oh, I'm planning to do a subathon on the day before my birthday into my birthday. So March 10th, I think, is a Friday. My birthday's on a Saturday.
See, huh? Well, I'll show you.
Bon appetit.
It'll be a 24-hour.
Oh boy.
Throw a ball with
Hi,
that
Jenny.
pussy, huh? Well, I'll show you.
Jenny with like a la. Can I please, like, can we, is there a way to defeat, no, we just have to, like, run away from her. I love red velvet.
Without Tootsie, huh?
Bon appetit.
Not Return of the Blue Lip. Please don't put me through that on my birthday.
Ew.
I beg.
I think you two.
This cake is fragile. We have to be bon appetit.
Hi, Taylor.
This
I do not appreciate.
I think you two need a little break.
We're
from
wasting
the
so much
dance
cake,
floor.
ma'am.
Bon appetit.
Bone app the feet. Okay.
I think you two
What
need a little
the?
break from the dance floor.
Bon appetit.
Bone apple teeth. Okay.
This cake is fragile. We have to be careful.
I'm running.
SpongeBob, you did it! My slumber party was a success after all. Now let's get out of here. Maybe I can still make it to the sale at the mall.
Yeah, the mall. That's absolutely still there. Probably. Now then, I'll just use the magic bubble wand to whisk us away.
Why was
This
SpongeBob
music is
indivisible?
Terrible. Thankfully, a true bard is here now. Let the real festivity beginneth.
basketball.
Tartar sauce.
I'm a star! Oh no, they were a bang. A nice bang piece.
Best party ever! I could totally hug you right now, but I don't want to pop you.
Yeah, I get that a lot.
I'm not a balloon. You can still hug me.
Okay, I guess you've earned it.
Ah!
Oh.
We did it, Patrick. Everyone is safely back in Bikini Bottom. Now we just need to find the Krusty Krab so I can go to work tomorrow.
Well, I wish I could go to work. This day off has been exhausting.
Just don't tell any of the popular kids at school that I hugged you. Now I have to go find my dad to make sure he's okay.
A little dab will do ya.
Oh, hit the dab pen.
Check out my new ride. It helps when I need to rest my peg leg. Ouch!
Oh, he doesn't say my leg.
I almost have all the sweet, sweet jelly I need to fix your little mishap. But watch out, my darling. Your next journey will take you to a place where fun and fear have become
you, Peach
one
Sweet.
and the same. You'll have to go back to the amusement park called Glove World.
We go Glove World!
We'll see about that. Your costume is almost complete, but
Oh, twerks. Okay!
Maybe Mrs. Puff knows where we can get the breath of a pufferfish. After all, she is a teacher.
This glove hat can only mean one thing.
You can finally shake hands with your whole head now.
well, if it isn't SpongeBob and Patrick.
Help! Help! Someone besides SpongeBob, help!
Don't worry, Mrs. Puff. We'll get you.
Ooh, someone left melted cheese all over the ground.
Patrick, I think that's
This
hot
town
lava.
has really
Well, I love
changed.
me some cheese.
There they are. Well, I gotta go.
Hi, Talosessi. Talosessi, it's officially Pisces season.
Cry.
I thought that was... I thought that was safe. You heard her.
This town has really changed.
Order up.
Pisces season is here. Where are the free gifts? You're so real for that. Fun fact to new channel members, me and Talosessi are besties and have the same birthday. It's true, it's true. No memes, just facts. Where? Okay, there's one right here. We have to save Puff. The 21st, work.
This town has really changed, man.
Yeah, thank you for the follow. Oh. This town has really changed, man.
This town has...
Shut up, lady! Jesus fucking Christ! I do not want another rubber chicken. I would rather not travel with a rubber chicken in my bag. Oh, she's high.
Wow, that was fantastic, Mrs. Puff. Could you do that again, please?
The Joker.
Certainly won't.
Oh, please, 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 please. Huh? Oh!
Patrick!
Good luck, SpongeBob. Don't mess this up.
Don't worry, Mrs. Puff. We have this under control.
It's honestly so fun, Meow. Like, seriously, so fucking fun. The Krusty Krab pita. Pita.
Mrs. Puff sure must have fun doing this all the time. Am I right, Patrick? Agent Poor Bearer calling for best friend support. Over. Patrick?
Game over.
We lost Patrick.
First, I lost Bikini Bottom, and now I've lost my best friend.
Loser.
It honestly was such a good
I
match.
can't lose as long as I keep trying. I'm gonna find Patrick, and together we will bring Bikini Bottom back to normal.
Did you watch it, Talos? Or did you just watch clips?
Patrick!
Why did I? Okay. Oh, we're not supposed to hit the white ones. Oops. They're like the goodie stars. Whoopsie.
Hi-ya!
Don't bait me. We just recorded the podcast, so it'll be up tomorrow for the Chamber in New Japan Wrestling.
Karatuken!
Hi, Renegade. The Glove World lady in the middle, so real.
You set a new high score. Next.
Oh, I almost left the balloon.
I'm rich!
I didn't see that. What was that? Love your Spidey top. Thank you. Doing. Oh, there's probably a secret, huh? You have to ring these bells in a certain order. Oh, yep, look. Oh, wait, I accidentally did it. Oh, I think it wants me to hit it first and then... Yeah.
What's that beautiful song? It makes me want to.
What is that melody?
Would love to see all this food. I miss him.
Work. Well.
The Krusty Krab. Woo! A gold double.
What was that in the middle of? Like what?
Sticky sweet.
Like what match did he say that in? Probably Roman and Sammy, right?
Hurry, hurry. Slip yourself into the mission.
I was rooting for Sammy so hard. Oh my god, that meme, Maddie, of the where he goes, ah, ooh, ah.
I feel like Mr. Krabs.
I think so too, Talos. I know Triple H was... It was so hard for him to get out of Canada without getting jumped. Of course, thank you, Lib. Thanks for hanging.
Patrick sure doesn't look like he's having fun in that picture. Maybe he's screaming with joy.
Why is this like a horror game right now? Oh, we need one more doubloon for these outfits. It's like a horror carnival.
God World hasn't had any new visitors since you isolated the park with your cosmic shake. It's so lonely here now, and no one will high-five me anymore.
Marty, I'm scared.
Just give up and enjoy the ride to your doom.
The Tunnel of Glove.
Don't forget to ride
We're in the
all
Tunnel
those
of Glove.
attractions. There
Who
are
wanna ride the Tunnel of Glove with me?
Oh, if only Patrick were here, we'd ride all the rides together and eat heaps of ice cream. But without him, I'd just end up heartburned.
Oh, that's funny. We enjoy the ride here. Excuse me, why is the... Guys, the Tunnel of Glove is broken. Oh no, the Tunnel of Glove, it's broken.
Patrick told me he doesn't want to play with you anymore, SpongeBob.
Hi.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, say hello to
Oh my god! I wasn't even realizing we were going underwater.
Pardon me, gentlemen, but have you seen a sea star around here? Pink, shaped like a balloon, also my best friend? No. Perfect form.
The music is like scary too. Do you hear the music?
Ooh, more jelly. Ew! Ow, 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 ow,
I meant to do that.
All right, SquarePants, you've made it this far. You have to keep going. You can't turn your back on your best friend. After all, you have to talk to yourself when he's not around.
SpongeBob let his best friend go because he only cares about himself.
Yeah, I wanted to go get that doubloon, but it's fine. I knew there was gonna be one there, but...
Patrick! Oh, maybe there's something useful in all this junk.
What's this? Reef blower. Nice reference.
Attention, boys and girls. If you don't love our theme park anymore, you can blame SpongeBob.
I
Wow.
am the wielder of the mighty reef blower.
Oh my god, Luigi's
I'm not gonna be
Mansion,
stopped by a bunch of
yes.
Jelly drops. Ow, 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 ow.
Oh, that takes
A little
damage.
dabble do ya?
Oh, little dabble do ya? Did you know what little dabble do ya? Luigi's Mansion 4 looks so different.
Hang in there, Patrick. I'm coming for ya. Nothing can stop me now.
Look how pretty. What was that? Get the reef blower. Get the queef blower.
Glove World Jail? Only the most exclusive members get to access this attraction. I've never seen a fish like this.
Not us in jail. We're in gay baby jail. Horny jail.
A little dab will do ya.
It sure will.
I'm feeling better already.
There's no enemies. I can't suck anything up. Here we go.
Uh-oh, not goo.
Oh my god, that's so lame. Did you see that? That's so stupid. The hitbox?
Order up. I've never seen a fish like this.
It's okay.
All right, I think it's ready, Patrick.
Easy.
Maintenance doors open.
Easy, 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 easy. Do I keep the reef blower? I think I keep the reef blower.
Are you having fun yet, SpongeBob? I know Patrick is.
Oh no, you don't. What the?
When you visit Glove World, you never, ever have to leave.
This is scary. If I was a kid playing this, I'd be scared.
Better off. Ooh, more jelly.
I'd be like, Mommy, I want to go to Glove World. Then I get to this and it's like, oh my god, scary nightcore, like spooky VHS tape vibe. I'd be like, I never want to watch SpongeBob again.
Ooh, more jelly.
Well, there's clearly got to be something over here at the theater. No? It's the theater.
Those stupid jelly goons broke the Glove Theater. They don't even have tickets.
I've got my eye on you, jailbird.
Okay, ACAB. Like, what do you want me to do, huh? There is a secret right here. It is up, down, down, up, down, up, up, down, down, up, down, up.
Hurry, hurry. Keep your eyes on the prize.
Up. That isn't what I need to hit. Okay. Oops. Oh my god. I'm not even aiming for Patrick. I literally am not even aiming for Patrick. Please have class. Oh, fuck.
Missed it by a mile.
Coming at ya. Coming at ya.
I do like how it's like carnival games though, like that's fun. Like this level is carnival games. I love a carnival.
Hey!
Bullseye.
I feel like Mr. Krabs.
New costume check. Oh, that's so cute. The main costume? Oh my god, the back is cut out too. That's hilarious. And why aren't you in uniform? I love a he-him in a maid outfit, I must say. I've never seen a he-him look good in a maid outfit. Like if you want to prove me wrong, like literally prove me wrong then. Like, eye roll emoji. Like literally, like never seen someone masculine look good in a maid outfit. Like prove me wrong. Like literally prove me wrong. Like reply to this tweet.
You cut Glove World off from the world with that cosmic shake, so we can't have any new guests in the
No, it's
park.
satire.
The ones who are here feel trapped. No one is having any.
The joke is that I want to see people in a maid outfit, so please reply to this tweet. It's satire, love.
The Krusty Krab! It is here! Oh, if I'm this excited, I can only imagine how Squidward is gonna feel.
We found the Krusty Krab!
It's not what it looks like. He forces me to take best friends pictures.
Oh, don't worry, buddy. Help has arrived. I'm your biggest fan in the whole world. Could you please give me a thumbs up?
Anything for a fan.
Well, in that case, how about letting Patrick go?
No. Ever since you threw Bikini Bottom into utter cosmic chaos, all visitors have vanished from this once beautiful oasis of fun. And with them, their adoration for me. Do you know what becomes of a glove without love?
I'm gonna go with G. Stop smothering him! It's time I realized even the best glove can be cold. I won't let that happen to you, Glovey Glove.
Hello?
Hold on, Patrick! I'm coming!
Show that glove who's boss, SpongeBob.
Ow! Yow!
Me already dying.
Sticky sweet.
Can you please? The main outfit is so funny. Gagged. Oh, phase 2?
I'm feeling better already. Ooh, more jelly.
What the? Well, literally the boss accidentally kills these guys, so I'm not that mad. The goo is killing them. Oh! Did they just like not program that correctly?
Patrick is mine, and I will never let him go!
Okay, I think that needs to be assessed. Like, why are you holding someone hostage? That's, first of all, illegal. Second of all, not nice. gagged.
No more chafing.
What's that? Oh.
I admire you, Glovey Glove, but you leave me no choice. The Krusty Krab pizza is the pizza for you.
Looks like you're wide open.
How do I get the ammo? Clocked.
So lonely.
It's just hard to see your childhood heroes hit rock bottom.
Don't worry, Patrick. I have something with me that can cheer up our friend.
A Squidward action figure?
Even better. You have a world of friends.
You're right. I have a world of friends. They all adore my fixed
This is
smile,
scary.
my haunting blank stare. Thank you.
Girl.
I always knew you'd come for me, SpongeBob.
I will never leave you out of my sight ever again, Patrick. You're my best friend ever. Don't worry, Glovey Glove. I'll get Bikini Bottom back to normal and get lots of visitors back into Glove World to love you just like we do.
SpongeBob?
That's literally like creepypasta shit. That was scary.
Freeze, you toxic yellow polluter!
Oh, here we fucking
We've
go.
gotten reports from multiple sources with the same megalomaniacal. You either pick it.
Whoa! I don't know where all this trash came from, but I do love to pick things
The
up.
outfit. What do I do with
It
this?
feels good to clean up the ocean.
Who would leave all this trash around here?
Yeah, it's despicable. Who would leave all this around? Save the turtles. Oh, I'm being timed.
Is there
Awkward.
anything that shouldn't be recycled?
Old jokes.
Okay, that one was funny, Patrick. You got me.
All clear.
We sure did a lot today.
Bitch.
Well, it's been fun. See you later.
Wait, Patrick. Shouldn't we bring the rest of the jelly to Cassandra so she can fix all this chaos?
Oh, yeah. Well, I guess I can squeeze that in.
Gary is still a giant, angry... Interesting. What if this game had alternate endings? I would actually giggle.
That can must taste pretty good.
So when is she gonna kill us?
SpongeBob SquarePants? This time you took things too far.
Hi, Neptune.
Well. His Royal Hiney finally decided to show up.
This snail oil saleswoman broke into my royal bath time chamber and stole my bubble soap. She never posed any real danger until your can-do attitude enabled her. Do you have any idea how much power she'll wield once she has enough jelly?
Ah!
Silence! I am now the queen of the ocean, and with the power of the cosmic jelly, I will reshape the seas according to my wishes.
Work. Work.
SpongeBob, I have tolerated your annoying little slip-ups for years now, but I have had it. Because of you, I have been kidnapped, I had to relearn to speak, and my toilet is clogged with jelly. Enough is enough. You know what? It's not that bad. I'll just get the plunger.
You're going nowhere, my delicious little rage muffin. You have the perfect attitude to be my new pet.
What? So...
This is it, Patrick. My wishes may have shaken up the world, but Cassandra's the one who's gone out of control.
What?
It's time to stop it for good and
What?
save our friends once and for all.
What?
Really cool while we do it.
What is happening? Girl, I'm gagged. Oh!
Patrick, stay with me!
Look over there, SpongeBob.
The audio mixing is not live, laugh, love.
A little dab will do ya.
A little. Everybody, hit your dab pen, please.
That actually hurt! Mind the giant paper tentacles!
Man, Squidward woke up on the wrong side of the rock.
Squidward wearing a blue lip? You know I'm plucked. Hi, Persona. Oh.
Ooh, something shiny down there.
Ooh, more jelly.
Hold still! No!
Ow.
Bikini Bottom deserves nothing less than destruction.
No, they're gonna ruin everything if we don't stop them.
Squidward is extra grumpy today.
You think so?
Say goodbye!
I'm surprised they let Nintendo, I mean not Nintendo, I'm surprised they let the developers do this. Like, Squidward is scary.
I'm feeling better already.
Squidward got transformed into a final boss.
One cosmic rich falling junk is another sponge's practical pile. Ooh, more jelly.
That actually hurt!
What happened?
Oh!
What happened
No,
to
Squidward.
Patrick?
I'm so glad you're back to normal.
Ugh, what happened? And why does my mouth taste like jelly?
I have to hand it to you, SpongeBob. Your quirky approach did what the Royal Guard failed to do. You apprehended Madame Cassandra. Of course, you also empowered her to nearly destroy us all. But that's jelly under the bridge now. As a reward for your outstanding bravery, I shall grant you one final wish, so make it count.
I want a Burger
After today,
King
there's only
Whopper.
one thing I could wish for, and that is...
That was fun. I wish we could do it all over again.
Patrick, no!
Patrick, no! Oh no, we're in a time loop. Oh, the end credit. Wait, we beat it. That's awesome. We did it. Yeah. I do have a lighter. Oh, excuse me. The song, sing, demonetized so fast. I feel like I shouldn't do this with these gloves on. I feel like I would catch on fire. Okay, never mind. Sweet, sweet victory. Yeah. I just adjusted my crotch and that sound effect came up. What was that for? I would say definitely worth the $40. I think 60 is too much. Did you guys see they're starting to charge 70 for games? It's becoming the average. Be serious. This is a good amount for the content you get. So I'd say solid, like 8.5, 9 out of 10.
One loading screen later.
That's funny. So I think my favorite world is probably the Halloween Rock Bottom. Let's rate the worlds. Halloween Rock Bottom's #1 for me. #2, I'm gonna say the Glove World. 3, I'm gonna say Medieval. I'll say 4, the Wild West. 5, the Karate Downtown. 6, Prehistoric, and then last is the Pirate Goo Lagoon. Overall, pretty solid game though. Like, I really enjoyed that. Lots of side content you can do post-game as well. I don't think I will be doing that post-game. I'm just here for the story and like what we're doing in the main story. Maybe in our next subathon I can come back and play this, do some stuff. I don't think I'll be doing anything post-game though. We move on. We move on from here. I am gonna use the restroom though before we figure out what we're doing next. So I will be right back.